Welcome back, piggies, to another episode of the Pigskin Pals podcast with your hosts, Dane and AJ.
I'm back.
Today, he's back, baby. Back and better than ever. No more solo episodes, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Today, we got gonna be going over the DFS lineups, the results from last week, as well as go over our picks for the week in our Redraft and Dynasty leagues. I'm feeling a little depressed about those two leagues, I'm gonna be honest. My teams are absolutely shitting the bed.
Yeah,
but,
what
you know what?
happened?
lot of
Zay
season
Flowers
left,
supposed to save you.
it's a lot of season, baby. A lot of season left. I still got faith I'll make playoffs in both, but we shall see. Let's get stuck right
into it. It is week 5, and there's a bunch of news going around the league. Once again, a shit ton of more injuries, but the one headline that's been catching my eye is Antonio Gibson getting that starting role this week.
Not good.
Dynasty team or Dynasty League, hit me up. Send me that trade. But that's not actually the headline. The real headline is the Davante Adams, the team and him both requesting trade and approving it. So looks like they might be parting ways pretty soon. And AJ, where do you think the best fantasy landing spot is for him?
Okay.
Yeah, I also have some the salary caps up too. So reasonable and fantasy. I can let you know.
I guess I don't know the salary cap, but I guess fantasy-wise, especially with all the injuries going on right now, I think the Chiefs would obviously be very good. I don't know how realistic that one is, if it will really happen. I feel like
they don't
Raiders
have
really
the
trade in
money for
between.
that, I don't think
They might have money, and would the Raiders trade in between division, in division? Probably not. And if they did, they'd have to trade a premium.
Yeah, if they could get a first for him, you might as well send it. He's gonna be gone by the time you're good, and then Raiders can draft someone else. But
yeah, otherwise, I mean, realistic landing spots, everyone's kind of been talking about it. I feel like it's like the Saints and the Jets, just strictly because apparently he said he wants to play with the quarterback he's played with before. I don't think he would do all that well on the Saints, if I'm being honest. I don't think much would change. I think he'd probably put up similar numbers as to what he's doing on the Raiders, which haven't been super spectacular. So I think if he can't go to the Chiefs, best landing spot would either be the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Jets. I'd probably say the Jets, though, because it's more realistic.
I didn't think of the New Orleans and just going back with Carr, but I mean, if I was Davante, I would have a sour taste in how that went down.
Yes.
After that last trade, they also it looks like they only have 4.5 mil in cap, less money than the Chiefs right now. So I don't know how reasonable that would be. The couple I was thinking about, yes, I was thinking Jets too. Obviously, the Cowboys, I feel like could be in conversation.
Cooks is hurt now.
Because, I mean, there's rumors that Cooper might be sent over to you to reunite.
I'd be perfectly happy with that.
But you guys definitely have the money, and you are looking for weapons. I'm saying you as you are the Cowboys because you're a big Cowboy fan.
Yes.
But this one would sting more for you, I think. But I could definitely see this. Davante being paired with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah,
getting a rookie quarterback some help, and they could really solidify their push to win that division, which would be crazy.
Honestly, I don't think it because it's Cowboys division.
Yeah.
But the Commanders are pretty cool right now. The team itself, they're pretty cool, and I could totally see this happening. It fits really well. So I mean, I would be upset because they're already looking kind of scary, and that would just make them scarier.
And they already have the best head coach and defensive coordinator in the freaking league, man.
No way.
I mean, that was the thing that I was thinking about last week watching that Commanders game. All the Cowboys fans just saying, we need to get rid of Dan Quinn, get him out of here. And now Dan Quinn has made the worst defense in the league better than the Cowboys already.
Reasonable.
And
yeah.
So there's some mischief going on there. Yeah, I think the NFC East he could be going back into. Or not going back into, but
I hope not.
NFC. Now we're over into our DFS lineups. This is the week 4 results. We're going to go into our week 5 lineups. They're going to be our favorite starts, the games that we're going to be targeting this week where we think there's going to be some fantasy relevance. So if you got some guys on your team, maybe start them this week. But last week, AJ walked away with the W again.
Bang.
Any words
Easy.
for the...
It's easy, man. I don't know what to say. I think I really do so far, at least, have been liking the top heavy strategy where you just get those elite players with elite matchups. They tend to perform pretty well, and then just find some little guys like Ray McLeod that can put up a couple points or whatever. And I think it kind of works out kind of well.
Yeah, I kind of went with that strategy this week, so we can go straight into it. You haven't seen our teams, but I have seen them, and they look extremely similar this week. We got the same defenses,
wow.
the same quarterbacks, running back, Jamar Chase, DK. Also, you went
Packers,
with Tucker
tight end.
Kraft. I went with Musgrave.
This is so funny.
But yeah, you're on the right, I'm on the left. Walk me through your build.
Yeah, honestly, I struggled a little bit. I had guys I really wanted. Like, I think Trey Sermon, assuming JT's not going to play, which I think at this point is basically guaranteed that he won't play. Maybe I'm wrong and I get shafted, but I think that's like a really cheap option that will get guaranteed touches and is just like, it saves a lot of money that I can use other places, like going Derrick Henry and Jamar Chase and DK Metcalf. Obviously, you did the same as well. I also think that the Seahawks are going to have a very nice week. So I got that Geno Smith, DK Metcalf stack, which I think is really nice. Josh Downs, kind of pairing it with Trey Sermon a bit. I was kind of hoping Flacco would be the quarterback, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know if that is going to be the case at this point because Joe Flacco looked pretty decent at moving the ball around, and Josh Downs got quite a few targets. So I thought he would have been a nice cheap play, but if Richardson is in, this could be a little bit of a stinker, I'm going to be honest with you. And then I kind of just had leftover money with Dortch. He gets a couple targets a game, a couple catches. I think it's a reasonable play at 4,500.
And the Panthers D?
I mean, Bears haven't shown a whole lot of anything, if I'm being honest with you, and they're really cheap. They're a cheap defense, and I think it was like a reasonable matchup. I don't want to spend a lot of money. Let's
I think
go
the
Panthers
Chiefs was like
Chicago.
2,300, and we got
they were like third cheapest or something.
2,400.
Yeah.
I'll walk through my original build because I didn't really have a lot of thought process going into this current lineup because I just kind of had a quick switch up because I also thought Flacco was going to be starting. And then when we were going through our league picks, I was looking at Anthony Richardson who already got or logged a limited practice. So I was like, I don't feel too good about that. I feel like he might get in there. But when I first started, with the Christian Watson injury last week, I wanted to sneak in some Packers because I think the Packers-Rams game is going to be pretty high scoring. So I put in Musgrave. I went in the cheapest tight end for the Packers. Like, I feel like it could be a toss-up either week. Yeah, I think Kraft is going to have the better week, but there's always that chance where I think Musgrave could have that 60-yard touchdown where
a big play, or Kraft is just more consistent, like 10-yard maybe plays or 5 yards, whatever.
Yeah, and then I also had Jaden Reed in my lineup, and then Kyron. That was like my 3-person stack that I had. And then I went crazy with Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase. And
yeah, you went nuts.
So I had to go save some money. So I put in Flacco, and I really liked A.D. Mitchell because he was only like 3,700.
I had originally had A.D. Mitchell instead.
Oh so I liked all those plays, but yeah, I had to switch it up, and I agree with you too that the Giants and the Seahawks game should be pretty high scoring. Hopefully Neighbors plays because that would really make it a shootout.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, that would be a little worrisome, and maybe it's just going to be like a Kenneth Walker game. But Giants have like a pretty beast defensive line too, so hopefully they just put it through the air, through Geno again.
Yep, that's my thought.
And yeah, I kind of just filled in some pieces with Elijah Moore. Felt like he was pretty cheap and against a pretty bad defense. It's interesting that we like have that same strategy of going top heavy and then just doing some cheaper punt plays. But I feel like I somehow got more top heavy plays in, and my punt plays, I feel more better about them.
Yeah, I guess
Wicks and Moore, I feel better than Dortch and Downs.
I think I feel better about Dortch than Moore for sure. I think Wicks and Downs. I think Wicks probably will end up being better if Flacco's not playing. But yeah, you definitely went like super duper top heavy, and because you went like Musgrave and Elijah Moore, you had an extra 2,000 ish than I did. So you're able to to get that extra. With that extra 2,000, you went Kyron instead of Sermon. Basically, is what happened. I think Sermon could score just as much as Kyron this week if he gets to start. So I think it's perfectly fine. But I see where you're coming from, where you think I think Wicks may be better than Downs, but I think Dortch will have more cooked.
I haven't really been following Dortch, honestly. So I just know, like, Moore's been getting, like, 8 targets, or not 8 targets, but, like, 5 targets, 4 targets a game.
Yeah, Dortch has been, like, a solid 6 to 7 points every game, I feel like. And all he needs is a touchdown, that just escalates. So
yeah, so it should be interesting how this one shakes out. It's going to be up to that Indianapolis and that Packers game, basically. Who's going to get the targets for the Packers player, and how well is Sermon going to fill in for JT? I'm pretty confident that JT is going to be out this week, but if he does start, do you have like a hot swap or anything for Sermon that you had in mind?
I don't. I guess at this moment, I'd have to look more into that. I don't have one because I'm so confident that they will not play JT. That's kind of just where I'm at. I think with the high ankle sprain, I feel like people always miss some sort of time, even if it'll be just a game. They're not going to put him back out there right away, I don't think.
Mild high ankle sprain.
Whatever. It's still a high ankle sprain. I don't think he'll play. Especially, no offense, Jacksonville. Against Jacksonville, they are kind of ass. So this might be a fine game to leave him on the bench.
I've heard that nonstop. I haven't tortured myself by watching a game yet.
It's
I will
bad.
be this week.
It's
I'll
bad.
be hanging out with Wyatt again, and we'll be watching Colts and Jags and then the Packers.
Moving into our Week 5 redraft picks. Taking a look at the scoreboard. I believe, Dane, you did gain. Holy, you did gain a game. That was crazy. So we're
Dane
tied
gained
now.
a game.
Yeah, that's kind of like a tongue twister. It's kind of nuts. So we're tied at 12 and 12 both. Kind of
Super
mid. We're super exactly mid. We agree pretty heavily this week. I feel like we're kind of trending towards that once again. Now that maybe things have settled a little bit. However, we are disagreeing again on one of my games. That seems to be a trend as well. I kind of pick myself and you don't pick me. So far, that's worked out for you better than it has for me, sadly. But let's quickly pull up that matchup. Here it is. It's me versus Parker. I will say this might be one of the more disgusting matchups I've seen in a while.
It was very close and very, like, I could barely decide. And what it comes down to, I mean, both the running backs just look atrocious.
My thing is, one, God, it's so sad looking at Tyreek Hill and not being excited about it. I don't know if I'm getting 5 points from this guy, but it's like I can't take him out of my lineup. So that's really sad. Wan'Dale Robinson actually has been kind of a freak show, kind of a nice pickup that I have. So that's great. And also I'm looking at Parker's team and like having both Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk. Am I really scared of a guy betting on the winless Jags? Not really. Xavier Legette, love you, dude, but get off my screen. You haven't really done a whole lot, I feel like.
Dude, he ate last week.
Yeah, I get it. He ate last week, but like, look at every other week. Like, no one cares. So I'm not too scared of a lot of his players, but
he had Bryce Young, and then he scored 5 points and 16 points. Hey,
yeah, I'd be more likely that I feel like the 5 is coming. So I'm not too scared of a lot of his guys, and I think I do have like the best pieces in the matchup in Tyreek, Kelsey, and Lamar Jackson. I think those are the 3 best pieces probably here. So it feels like it's an easy smash for me. But
yeah,
who knows?
The Lamar is definitely the best, and Kelsey's the second best. I think I just went with Parker because I'm less scared of his players like fully busting, where some of your guys could fully bust, like Stevenson, Javante. Even Zay's been invisible in some games. Like, I don't think it shouldn't be this game.
He's gone back and forth, I feel like. Like, it's been like he's go for 14, then he'll go for 2, then he went for like 20, and now he went for 1 last week. I feel like it's an up week, man. I don't know.
Hopefully. And then Keon, I feel like Keon should really have a good week this week. Who knows? And then...
Not reliable.
Yeah. Like you said, Brian Thomas and Christian Kirk, at least like one of those guys should do something. Like one of them should score over 15 points, hopefully, in a division.
I don't know. It's the Jags, man.
Defense. I don't know. Like, I don't see any of his guys dropping a 0 or a donut. But
no, yeah.
We'll see, I guess, what defense he picks up too, because that could change some stuff.
I think I'm also picking up a defense, so hopefully we're not going to the same one.
I would rock the Raiders.
I don't know.
There's also Denver, dude.
I get it. Denver kind of blows, but there's also, I think, Seattle is who I have a thing in for. Their defense has been really good, and I think the Giants haven't really showed a whole lot of anything other than Neighbors, and if Neighbors doesn't play specifically, then they're kind of cooked, I think. But yeah, I mean, if I don't get them, I don't get them. I'm not too worried about it. Maybe I'll just cancel. And also, it could be a blocker for Parker, but I bet he might be. Let me check the waiver. You know what? I'm checking the order. Checking the order right now. Like
pick up a defense. You're gonna roster 2 Ds.
No, I wasn't going to, but now I'm thinking I might. So I will get it over Parker.
You'd have to drop your boy Luke McCaffrey.
Dang, I'd be all right with that. Or I could even drop.
I don't know. If I were you, I would rock the Raiders because I think like the most important thing is just not allowing yards and scores. Like I think Seattle's pretty good at getting sacks and turnovers, but it feels like they're kind of always in a shootout where they're allowing yards and scores. I don't know. I don't remember all their games. I'm just remembering that Lions game. But so that was our one game that we were different on. Let's see what we have in store for the Dynasty Picks.
Who would have thought? Wow, look at this.
All the same picks minus
me again. And I'm picking me again. At least last week we were different on this, and you picked the other, or I picked the other guy and you picked me. So it was like a little different.
I will say though, one thing I'm thinking about is my redraft team has quite a bit of like similar players as Parker's dynasty team. So I feel like if we're picking Parker to lose in both games, we might be getting one wrong there, just with Brees Hall and HN. I mean, I'm sitting HN
Yeah, but okay,
in
but
redraft.
you have to think about it
but
though. Like here, I'll just go over to Dynasty right now. I'll take a look at that matchup. You have to think about the other players that are on his team,
He
right?
is starting 3 Dolphins, I think.
He's got Mostert. Who is he playing? I don't know. Does it matter if he does? Do we want anyone on the Dolphins offense? Not really. Jonnu Smith should get switched out for Trey McBride, would be my guess. He does have him. I don't know if he's going to play or not, but I think Trey will play. But either way, what we were saying was Brees Hall and Achane is who you got in Dynasty or in redraft, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe that's it.
Look at the rest of it. Like Brian Robinson's the only other player where I'm like pretty confident they'll be all right. And Pickens, I guess. It's not like he's got a bunch of other studs. Like I don't know. I do think this matchup could be close because I'm not looking at your team and it's like wowing me off the page. I don't think we're necessarily going to get one right, one wrong type of thing.
Yeah, I am more scared than I should be. I mean, I really want to win this game because he's 2-2, I'm 2-2. We're both on that playoff cuff, and this could long term. Looking back at it, this could be a huge swing just for our rookie draft, because I have Parker's pick. I really want to beat him, make sure he's out of the playoffs, and he is like the second lowest point scored right now. So if he does make the playoffs somehow, that's going to really hurt my draft capital. So I'm really hoping for that dub.
Yeah, I guess kind of along those same lines and kind of not along the same lines, but we're going to talk about my team anyway. Points in comparison to the rest of the people below me or in that out of playoffs range, I'm going to have more points than them. So it's like, even if I decide, oh, you know what, I'm not winning games, I'm going to tank or whatever, or I'm going to like just trade away some guys, I'm not going to have a good draft. I'm going to have the air quotes like, so I'm really hoping I can sneak into this playoffs, because if not, I think this could be a tragic year.
I'm just trying to actually find where the record is right now, but we can start talking about why you
talk
picked
about
yourself.
JT not playing, I think in my head, not playing, I think is a big deal, because then his next play is either Roshan, Emmanuel Wilson, or Trey Benson, and I'm not like particularly scared of any of those guys. I think Big Kirko's gonna have a good week. I'm pretty confident in that. That's why I got him stacked up with Darnell Mooney this week in my starting lineup. I think that could be a nice little start to the week. I don't know. Kamara's been like so solid for me. I think CD's going to have a great week. Ryan's team is so unfortunate for me because like I've kind of been hyping it up a little bit in terms of like, oh, I think he's like got some good guys, but they haven't really been performing. Jordan Addison just had a breakout game. Deontay Johnson's been playing well. Jordan Mason. Like they could very easily all of a sudden put out that breakout game, and I'm taking another L. So I'm not like the most confident I've ever been, but I just think my players are a little bit safer and have like that better floor.
I personally, I don't think Addison is going to have that crazy game because he's playing the Jets. I think that's a super tough matchup, also going to London too, where I was thinking, okay, I really wanted to pick Ryan, and then I also saw he had JT in his lineup, and he's probably going to start Roshan over JT. And I was like, I should take you. And I was like, no, I really want to take Ryan. And I think it is just, again, like seeing Davante and Zay Flowers. And
here's what I'll say to you right now. If we're saying JT's not playing, I'm slotting Trey Sermon in for Javonte Williams. Don't know if that changes anything for you.
Oh.
So there you go.
Can I get
I spent all 100 of my fab on Trey, baby.
Can I get a live switch? Would you allow?
You live swapping right now?
I mean,
if you want to, I would allow it.
I totally. What's up with ETN? Have you been following that news? Like, why was he injured?
He's just got a shoulder. He hurt his shoulder.
Did play. I mean, he's going to be active for this.
It was basically he hurt his shoulder on like the second play of the game. Yeah, he hurt his shoulder on the second play of the game. Sat out for a little bit. Sat out for a little bit, and then they're like, "You're good," and he's like, "I'm good," and then he played. And I'm sure they're just sitting him out of practice, and he'll play, and he'll be fine.
Like you don't need your shoulder for running. Okay, can I switch to you? Are you going to allow that?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that live. I'll do that live right now.
Okay.
All right.
I am switching over to AJ. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. We're going to have to talk about this next week.
Now we're dead even.
And
I can't game.
We're going to have to talk about these results. No, you can't.
Yeah, we definitely do need to talk about. I know it was a full mistake by me, but we definitely need to talk about this game next week.
But you need that energy.
Because if Ryan wins, I might be in
need
shambles.
More people rooting.
I do. I really do. I'm really in shambles right now. Like, here's the thing, man. I put like third highest points up last week, and I'm just like taking L's anyway. It's just like I can't win.
Yeah. Before we pass on this, why I wanted to go with Ryan too is I was thinking like the Bears, they need a really good game. Like, they're at home. They're playing against Carolina, a pretty weak team. Caleb and Roshan, they could go off. Mason's been a beast. Deontay's in that comeback with Chicago. Brian Thomas, that Colts game should be going crazy too. Goddamn, Cole Kmet, that's a lot of Bears. I don't want to.
Are we live changing it back to back to Ryan?
No, there's too many Bears in his lineup. And then T. Higgins in that Baltimore Cincinnati game. He was kind of almost like one of my sneaky plays too in that lineup because he's so much cheaper than Chase, but like I don't think they're going to be able to do much on the ground against Baltimore, but they could maybe pass their way. The one thing I would be scared about for you is really banking on Kamara, because what does Steve Spagnuolo do? He takes away the best player, like every single game. He takes away that best player, and I'm assuming that's going to be Kamara this game. So we'll see how much. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch, though. I agree. It's the sole Monday night game. We don't have any of this like doubleheader shit still, do we?
Thank you. God, no, I don't think so. And thank goodness, because like, oh my God, I feel like there was always one good game, one bad game, or something like that. Like, just put put one of those games back at like the 305 slot and just have the one. I don't know. I'm not a fan of double Monday night.
Last week I could barely watch the Dolphins.
Yeah, I like the 5 slot, like at 305.
That Seattle Lions game was so ass. I could only watch the Dolphins.
Yeah, that's what it was. Not flipped around at all. Definitely the Seahawks.
Dude, if my favorite player right now almost watching football is Kenneth Walker. Did you see that play?
He had some sick plays last night. He looked really good.
Fucking thing ever.
Yeah, he looked really, really good. He was fun to watch. When he rolled like 6 times and he's just like, first down.
I was so surprised they didn't call that dead too. And
yeah, they normally just call that dead and whatever.
I was locked in on that too because I almost beat Pete. All I needed was, I had so many chances too. I needed like this is gonna sound like a lot, but Waddle only put up like 2 points or 4 points, I think, and I needed JSN to outscore Waddle by like 13 points. Like that final quarter, all I needed was like a 40-yard touchdown from JSN, and he had that.
That's all I needed.
20-yard one where Gina threw like that last interception. They ended up getting the ball back too. Also, we should just talk about this game because it switched so fast. I don't know if you remember when DK actually caught and scored that 2-point conversion and they didn't challenge it.
Yeah.
And then the Lions just scored like a 70-yard touchdown right after that. I was like, how do you not challenge that? Because that's such a momentum shift.
You see that. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, are you really just banking on that you're going to get it the next time? Because it was a flag, right? So they just replayed it after that?
Yeah.
I think is what happened. It's like just like you can look at it. I don't know.
And then philosophy too of like the game. If he would have caught that, they would have been only down by 6. I think it would have changed the whole play calling from the Lions. They wouldn't have scored that touchdown right away. The whole game could have been so different. I mean, I also really wanted the Lions to fucking lose, but
I was cheering for the Lions. I like the Lions. I also like off, so that helps. Yeah. All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. That is the end of this episode. Let us know what you think of our DFS lineups, who you think is going to win this week, who your favorite plays are for the week, and don't forget to sack that like button, that subscribe button, that noti button, like it's whatever quarterback you hate. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Peace.